Nowadays, people are becoming more narcissistic, more self-absorbed, and less empathetic, right? And on top of that, they're filled with insecurities. And you want to know what happens when people feel that way? They resort to dirty tactics to feel better. They resort to dirty tactics to move up in the ladder, to get a mate. And the reason why that is because it's not just the fact that they feel low self esteem, but it's also the fact that a lot of us are very impatient. We have succumbed to quick fixes and instant gratification. So a lot of people never really learn to work for someone's validation, to work on a relationship, to make things work over the long run, and to charm people with their natural charm. So because of that, they resorted to dirty and nasty tactics. And a lot of people who weren't raised in this era resent that. They resent the games that people have to play. They resent the fronts that you have to put up. The reason why is because back then things were simpler. We had rituals and systems in the world, like religion, to bring people together, where they didn't have to think too much. They just relied on the system and they just relied on their social circle. Nowadays, people don't rely on that. So they have to find more innovative ways to meet people. The problem is that a lot of these motherfuckers are resorting to dirty, innovative tactics, right? And if you don't believe me, then look around you. Look at yourself. You're filled with battle scars. You're filled with resentment. You're filled with pain. And this is very normal and this is very natural. You shouldn't resent this. Too many people play dirty and are trying to startle you with their lies and manipulation. There are too many manipulative people and too many people who know how to manipulate. Oh, you know what? I'm bringing my stick right here. Sorry, man. I felt a little guilty right there. Well, my older videos are evil as shit, but not today. So the world is changing, and those who don't change will lose. They'll get played, lose time, and lose resources. Why? Because as we get older, we lose a taste for the unorthodox, for the new. And the thing is that you have to fight this psychological aging process because a lot of people, as you get older, you keep the same strategies that worked in the past. The problem is that those strategies only work in that time frame. They only work in that time frame, right? And what you have to do is learn to break that habit of your old habit, right? You must either learn to disengage from those people or play dirty. Disengage from the dirty dating world or play dirty. Because nowadays people are ridiculous. People lie so much. People hide the fact that they have relationships. It's truly insane. And so it creates a type of chaos that makes people feel unmotivated because it feels too chaotic. Right? And the thing is that a lot of people just don't want to play the game that other people are playing because it feels immoral. It feels bad. Right? What I say is that you got to learn to play dirty, not lie or manipulate people, right? But enough to defend yourself. One way is to confuse them, right? To confuse the expectations, to stop them in their tracks by sending mixed signals, right? And like I said, we are seeing too many people who are too self-absorbed. And what you have to do is get them to get out of their self-absorption, right? And how do you do that? Well, people expect your behavior to conform to certain patterns and expectations. Your job is to break this. Again, this is not evil shit. This is how to play their game, but in a more moralistic type of way. And what you're doing, the way to do that is that your mixed signals will become a threat. And at the same time, alluring and mysterious, right? The mixed signals that you send are threatening. It is, right? Because it kind of like, you don't make sense, but also you become so mysterious and so confusing that they're going to stop thinking of themselves and start thinking about you and how to understand you, right? So the way to do that is that you first allow them to sense something in you, a fixed image, and then you break it with the extraordinary, right? So how do you do that? Well, we're going to talk about it, but it's pretty much setting a pattern, an initial pattern, letting them have a fixed impression of you, and then you systematically breaking that fixed impression. It really startles people and it makes them not think of themselves, but think of you a little bit more. So what are the effects? What tends to happen? Well, one, they pay deeper attention to you. And this is very important. People are dying to get out of their shell. People are dying to get out of their echo chamber. People are dying to revel, to think about a mystery, something that's beyond the understanding, something extraordinary. And but you do that by sending mixed signals. They step out of their self-absorption. Mixed signals tends to do this to children. Mixed signals can cause children to disregard verbal communication and focus more on the nonverbal cues and actions of their parents, right? Due to inconsistency and confusion they create. Because if you're a parent and you send mixed signal to a child, it confuses them. And so what a child instinctively knows is to focus on your nonverbal cues, which is kind of funny how they know that, little weirdos, right? So due to the inconsistency and confusion that they create, when a person's words don't align with their actions or nonverbal signals, it becomes challenging for the child to understand what the parent is trying to convey. All of this means is that by you sending mixed signals, you allow people to observe you deeper. They're gonna pay deeper attention to you. What you notice is that by you sending mixed signals, their intensification of attention to you, it's simply because it makes them feel insecure to not fully understand you. They're trying to understand your patterns, and you are intentionally scrambling them and confusing the shit out of them, right? And this causes them to just pay deeper attention. And this deepening of attention causes them to see things in you that are not there, causes them to come to conclusions one moment and then completely assume that their conclusion was wrong and try to figure you out again. This creates a crystallization process in their mind where they're going to start creating an image of you that's larger than life. And when they're with you, they're gonna start being more romantic, because they're going to try to get some consistency out of you. And also because they're paying deep attention, they're going to remember more things about you, pay more attention, be more romantic, and also you're going to feel like they're actually paying attention. It's a satisfying experience. It's not manipulative. What you're doing is that you're showing the full ranges of your personality, where before you were so into that person that you didn't want to show them your dark side. You didn't want to show them when you were angry. You didn't want to show them any sign that looked disagreeable. And so you completely disenchanted them because you're not being yourself. Who you are is a mix of contradictions. You want to be able to express that in a very deliberate and healthy way in order to create this deepening of attention and get them out of their shells. It's actually, and this is actually why people love falling in love, because it's almost like they get to worship someone. They get to see a mystery unfold in front of their eyes as they get to know you. So if somebody's not paying attention to you, if you notice they don't pay attention to the details of you, they forget birthdays, they forget holidays, it's simply because you're too boring, you're too one-sided, send mixed signals. And the second thing that happens is that most people are predictable. So because of that, you're not going to be boring. You fascinate because they pause their instinct categorization of you. Humans, one of the things that I notice in meditation retreats is that we tend to categorize people based on how they look. We all have a certain, like a uniform that we say people like this are introvert, people like this are extrovert, people like this are soul boys, people like this are evil people, right? And we all have them unconsciously. They're called archetypes. And when people meet you, you always fit an archetype. They're always trying to categorize you. It's a quick way to save energy. And so what you do is that you allow them to categorize you, right? And then not instantly, right? Not instantly, but you allow them to categorize you, but then you switch it up quick. Then you send them a mixed signal. And this unbalances people. They will think of you more. You're quiet. For example, you could be a quiet person, but bold. For example, one time I was playing basketball and this guy just kept talking shit on this other guy and like being super disrespectful. Like, and they were like 14 years old. But for the whole game, this guy was being disrespectful, talking shit, getting in his face, and the guy wouldn't do nothing. And then right towards the end, that guy started talking shit again, and then all of a sudden, that kid just knocked him, pow, pow, twice in the mouth. And then it just they kept playing basketball. And that guy all of a sudden was quiet. The way this is perfect example of that, because the whole time he was quiet, giving him a chance, and then right towards the end, he Just clock them in the face, no hesitation. And that contrast between quiet, not responding, and then instant action creates a powerful effect on people. It honestly creates fear. It's disheartening. And you, in the moment you lose self-esteem, to be honest with you, right? So that's one. Quiet and bold, or it could be that you act super needy, but then if they fuck up, you instantly leave them. Right? It's almost like that dream girl where she likes you so much, super submissive, and then all of a sudden disappears on you. It's a mixed signal. You could be masculine and feminine, absent and present, cruel and sweet, close and distant. Psychologists do this, right? That's an example of that. Psychologists, where with their clients, they're very close. They know all of their secrets, but then the psychologist also tells them, don't call me after work. Don't follow me home, motherfucker, right? We're not like, there is a clear message that I'm close here, but once you're not here, we're not talking. And this has an effect on people. For example, one time I was in a sauna, and there was this one guy who kept talking to me, right? He just kept talking. I'm like, okay, this is gay shit, right? And he was very nice, very friendly, very talkative, right? And then after, it was when I went to the YMCA. And then after that, you know, I'm a nice person. So every time I see him, I would try to say hi. He wouldn't say shit. He would just look through me. And I'm like, what the fuck? I thought you were friendly with me the other day. Like, what the hell's going on? Right? But then when we go to the sauna, he's talkative. But then anywhere else, he just doesn't even acknowledge you. And that, I remember, obviously I didn't want to do nothing. People, calm the hell down. Oh my fucking God, he's coming out. Calm down. Obviously, what that does is that it kind of like, it sends a mixed signal. I think you guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's kind of like, I know you're nice, but why are you ignoring me? Like, you're a really nice guy, but why are you doing? Like, that mixed signal, it does get people. Like, honestly, it does, right? People are like, oh my God, he really wants to come out, right? Everything's making sense, right? It could be that you are loving and strict, and this is where good parents come in, right? You are a loving person, but strict. This is where children respect you, right? They get trapped between affection and a touch of fear. The tension breeds respect. And this is also with the partners. If there's an incredible quality about you, for example, if you're an incredibly smart person, allow that to become your mixed signals. Prelude with a banal and ordinary appearance. It could be that you are a brilliant person. Give him an ordinary experience. And the perfect example is Einstein, to be honest with you, right? The dude looks like a freaking child who didn't grow up, right? The reason why that is because something comfortable, or it could be an ordinary experience, an ordinary appearance, something comfortable or even weak, right? Then hit them with the extraordinary right afterwards. Remember, what is shocking and extraordinary only unfolds from the ordinary. A perfect example of this is Larry Bird. Let me put you guys let's put a. And the reason why I wanted to include this guy is because look at him, right? This guy's considered the best player on the planet, but look at the way he looks, right? Look at this guy. Like, if you look at Larry Bird, he was honestly one of the most famous basketball players, and he was just a legend during his time, but he wasn't a big talker. He wasn't charismatic. Like, he barely even talked to people, and I believe he was autistic. He never showed emotion, and he never made eye contact, right? But what made Bird fascinating was the fact that he looked so ordinary, right? He looked like such an ordinary person. I mean, look at this guy. What the fuck is going on? How is he a basketball player, right? And so the ordinary, then from him, it emerged the extraordinary. And this is why people were so captivated by him. And it's actually why Curry is so captivating, because he looks ordinary, but his play is extraordinary, right? Let's listen to this. No. This is what people actually say.
The first time I saw Larry Bird was actually in a magazine. Saw his stats. Blown away by his stats.
Yeah, his stats were insane, and I'm gonna pause it from time to time to not get demonetized.
But let's see if he can really do it against us.
Right? You gotta understand, black people, like when they when they play basketball, they judge you a lot on your appearance. And I can promise you, this motherfucker goes to the court, he's getting picked last. He's getting, especially if you come around with that front with that Justin Bieber cut. What the hell? Like, no, you're not. But listen.
And that's always a mindset of black players if he's a great white player.
In 1978, after his freshman year, Magic would quickly find out. When both he and Bird
They played together, and look at this guy, bro. This guy does not
to play for Team USA
look like everything about him. And I could promise. This is the funny thing: his charisma, because he was honestly a super. I mean, crazy. His charisma came from the symbiotic interplay between his ordinary look and his extraordinary look.
tournament.
They would put Larry Bird and I on the same team together to scrimmage, right? It was blowing my mind because he's dominating Jack Givens.
Right, because, and the thing is about him is that he looks like he plays a very simple way of basketball, but the funny thing is he's actually one of the flashiest players ever. And when you watch him, you're like, wait, this makes no sense. This dude looks like that. How the fuck is he playing like this? He doesn't look like...
Player of the year in college basketball. Larry Bird is eating him alive.
Look, he was a flashy guy.
I call home to tell my boys, man, this dude named Larry Bird is for real.
Like, he's just doing behind the back. And the thing is that most likely when people saw him play, they were just shocked. They just couldn't believe something this in appearance that looks so simple can play with so much extraordinary flair.
This is the baddest white dude I've ever seen in my life. We came down a couple times. I go behind my back, no look to him. He no look back to me. And I'm laying it up. I'm saying, oh, man.
And a big part, like I said, it's just his appearance, right? His appearance and his play is the charismatic aura. I mean, look, this dude is shining, bro. The motherfucker's shining. He's literally shining how white he is. This makes no sense. And when people saw him, they're like, there's no way this guy's Larry Bird. They're like, no, this guy's Larry Bird, not him.
Pressure off of him because at least I know I got somebody here that really knows how to play the game.
Right? And that to me is honestly why to me he's one of my favorite players ever, because look, Bird, right? He was just a nasty player who never looked like how good he was, you know? So that's one thing, right? I just wanted to give you guys an example of that because it's really the key to the fascination, right? Now the next thing is that you break through their emotional defenses. Okay, when you segment signals, it's sort of your defenses usually are up. Usually you have a strong emotional defense when you're able to predict the world, when you understand what's going to happen, and so you're able to brace yourself for the unpredictable. But the problem is that people who send mixed signals, people who are very irrational and unpredictable, terrorize us. They put fear inside of our hearts. Now, this fear isn't like, oh my God, you're going to kill me. This fear is, okay, like, do they like me? What are they thinking? What's going on? Because there's different forms of fear, right? And this tends to divide them from within, right? Just like an army, when an army with divided ranks is an army that's really, no matter how big it is not going to be effective, right? It's actually just like a freaking, like, I was going to say like a Range Rover where it just takes up too much gas. All right. The weakening of the mind makes them feel insecure, right? And so what tends to happen when somebody feels insecure, when they don't know what you're thinking, when they don't know whether or not you like them, what people either do, they either fight or flight, right? Some people leave you, they flight, but some people fight, right? And they get more aggressive. And this increasing of aggression, right, which always leads to them to make mistakes. And those mistakes reveal to you how they feel. Those mistakes put them in a position where you can leverage what they're doing to your benefit, right? It turns them aggressively. And the thing is that getting them to make the first move is always to your advantage. It's always the best type. The best type of fighting style is always the defensive fighting style, or like I said in the last video, the counterattack strategy. right? If you're slight, and so you get them to be to get you get them to be more aggressive because they're trying to create some consistency within you. They're trying to understand you, and so they'll reveal how they feel in the hopes that maybe you could reveal how you feel and maybe release the tension. This aggression comes also with a lack of self-awareness. They become more aggressive and they don't know how much they're breaking their rules. They don't know how needy they're looking. They don't know how many mistakes they're making only retrospectively when they realize when the fog of it's like the fog of war. When you're in war, you're in this type of environment where all common sense goes away and you just start acting completely different, right? And this is what happens. They get in this fog of war where they have this lack of self-awareness, where they don't notice and they don't see how much power they're giving you. Sending mixed signal has a disorienting effect on people that makes them fight hard to get some consistency from you so that they can feel more oriented and more in control. Now, the problem with this strategy is that too much mixed signals leads to the boomerang effect, and that is it'll create too much emotional distance. So this is something that you have to do in moderation and do it in a healthy way. You don't have to send mixed signals as a way to tell them you don't like them. You could just send mixed signals just to show different parts of your personality. You know what I'm saying? You could send mixed signals by dressing in a more sophisticated way, and then the next day you dress in a more other way, and then the next day you dress differently to show different parts of your personality. Mixed signals are meant to show different parts of your personality. If you do it to an extreme, it could become manipulative. Do it in the middle, it's perfect. Never do it, you become blander than white rice made by Bob. Okay, it has no salt, no taste, no culture, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's right, I said Bob. All right. Bob the rice maker. Right. Anyways, these are the three things that tends to happen when you send mixed signals, man. They pay deeper attention to you. You become less predictable and more interesting, and you fascinate them, right? And you break their emotional defenses, where by you sending mixed signals, after the mixed signal, you can actually ask for things, and you'll notice that they're more willing to give you what you want, because they just felt so disoriented that you asking for things gives them some sense of control, and they'll be more than happy to give you what you want. If you guys want to learn about this, click on the description down below to work with me one-on-one or purchase some of my courses where I do talk about this. And I'll see you guys later. All right, guys, we're going to have a brief intermission so that I can tell you guys about our new bundle that we're doing, where you guys can purchase all of my courses and get it at a discount. So this bundle is pretty much the bundle where you could just buy all of my courses. You could buy Nice Guy, which is a training course on how to come across more assertive, how to come across more confident, how to not give off nice guy vibes. You guys can get access to Dark Game, which is my full dating course on how to meet women in different scenarios, how to attract women, how to make sure you don't come across as creepy, and essentially how to act like a man and not act like a doofus, to be quite honest with you. And you get all of these bonuses, which is the bonuses of Dark Game, the bonuses of Practical Mastery, which is about how to master a skill, Social Mastery, which is how to master your social life, and the Laws of Human Nature, which is a book club videos that I had dissecting Robert Greene's book. All of this is naturally at around naturally is at $346, but you guys can purchase this bundle and get it at what's the price again? Get it at $238 pretty much. So you guys can purchase it right now. It's a money back 30-day money back guarantee. It's a good way to, rather than just buying them individually and paying extra, you guys can just purchase everything at a discount price. Now, the only thing I don't like is the fact that I'm giving you a lot of information at the same time. That makes me kind of scared, because a lot of times people don't do the things that I teach when you get too much information. But I've gotten too many requests to do this, so I'm just satisfying you guys. Purchase it right now by clicking on the description down below where it says purchase the bundle. All right, let's continue with the video.